What's up everybody, it's your girl Something Flavor, and today I'm going to be showing you how I took these really old oversized pants that I stole from my boyfriend and turned them into this really super cute button-up skirt that I could actually wear out in public. So if you'd like to learn, just keep on watching.
Something Flavor.
Okay, so the first thing I did was put the pair of pants on, and using tailor's chalk, I just marked the length that I wanted my skirt to be. Then I had just flipped the pair of pants in half and took my ruler and just straightened out the line that we had just made. And then I just cut along that straight line so that we now had a pair of shorts. Then I opened the pants up to reveal the inside seam and took my ruler and marked a straight line all the way down after that seam. And then I opened the pants on the other side to reveal the seam again, took my ruler and marked another straight line all the way down, and this is going to get rid of that ugly zipper that was already there. Then I took my scissors and I cut only the top portion of the fabric down the two lines. I flipped down that cut portion and then it left us with these ugly bulky seams. So I just took my scissors and I cut those two seams off in the back. And then it left me with two seams on the front legs as well, so I just went and also removed those. Once it was all cut, I just opened it up and holding on to the back seam, I used that and flipped it onto its side. And then I just took my ruler and I wanted to straighten off that front edge. So I just marked along a straight line with my tailor's chalk and then cut it. Then I wanted to hem it so that it would look nice and put together. So I just folded over the raw edge on the wrong side, pinned that all up, and then sewed a straight stitch all the way down. And then I flipped it over on its other side and folded over that raw edge and pinned that all up as well so that my two front edges would both have nice finishes. And I sewed another straight stitch all the way down. Next, we need to redo the back seam and also get rid of all of the extra fabric. So I just pinned up the fabric all the way down and I sewed a straight stitch before that old seam, trying to keep it as straight as I possibly could all the way down. Once that was all sewn together, I just cut off all the extra fabric, including that old seam, and then I went back over the edges with a zigzag stitch so that it would prevent anything from fraying in the future. I wanted to hem up the bottom so that it would look nice and polished, so I just folded up that raw edge at the bottom, pinned that up, and then sewed a straight stitch all the way across. When you're sewing, don't forget to backstitch at the beginning and end every single time you do start sewing. And every time you get to a bulky seam, just make sure to go slow over it so that you don't break any needles. Now I wanted to get rid of the two belt loops in the front because I didn't like the way that they looked now that it was all sewn. And this was the worst part about this whole entire project. These belt loops were really sewn onto these old pants, and I accidentally stabbed myself like 4 times with the seam ripper. So when you're doing this part, just make sure that you're extra super careful. I found these really cute clock buttons at Walmart that I knew I wanted to use, but they were too big to fit onto my button foot, so I just had to apply the buttons by hand, which is okay. It just takes a little bit more time. So I laid down my buttons, and using my ruler, I just used the chalk to mark them equally spaced apart. And for this project, I did them each about 3 inches apart. And then I wanted all of my buttonholes to be the same length. So I took my ruler again and I just marked each of my buttonholes the same length. I had done this before, but my buttons didn't end up fitting through, so I had to make them a little bit longer. And then I cut open my buttonholes. So I just pinched the fabric a little bit and I cut one way and then went back and cut in the opposite direction and then pushed the button through to make sure that it would fit through the hole, and then I just repeated that step for all of the buttonholes. To mark where I needed to sew on the buttons to the other front piece, I just used my tailor's chalk and marked inside all of the holes that we had just made, and that marked perfectly where I needed to sew on the buttons. Then I just hand sewed on each button really well on all the markings that we had made. And I really love these clock buttons. I think they're so cute and they make the whole skirt. So once the buttons were all in place, then I just went around all of the buttonholes with a zigzag stitch so that it wouldn't fray. And how I did that was I just set my zigzag stitch to a really skinny length, and I held open my fabric just a little bit so that I wouldn't be sewing the hole shut. And I made a zigzag stitch going down the one end. I lifted up the presser foot to move my fabric so that I'd be able to sew down the side. And I continued to do that all the way around the buttonhole so that it was completely stitched all the way around. And this is what it ends up looking like, and just repeat that process to all of the other buttons, and boom, we are all finished with our skirt. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on how to reuse your old baggy pants and turn them into a really cute new skirt that you can wear. This video was definitely inspired by my girl Fashion Wizardry, so go support her channel after supporting mine, of course. And don't forget to like this video, leave me a comment, and subscribe to my channel for new videos every Thursday. Thank you so much.